this video I want to cover Python numbers. We'll briefly review what a complex, integer, and float number are in Python. We'll look at the functions that we can use against these numbers, and then we'll also look at how we can import our first module. Let's jump over to a text editor to get started. To start off, let's import our first module. To do this, we can type in import, and then the module that we're importing is called math. So just type in math. Math is a module that comes with the Python package, but it doesn't automatically come into each Python script that you write. Because of this, each time you want to use math functions included in the math module, you have to import it at the beginning of your script. Now let's briefly review the different types of numbers that we have in Python. Let's say a is equal to -10. Since -10 is a positive or negative whole number, that means it's in the integer class. Then let's type b is equal to 5.5. Since this is not a whole number, this is in the float class. A float is just any number that is positive or negative that has a decimal place in it. Then let's type in c is equal to 4.6j. In Python, this represents a complex number. The 4 is the real component, and then the 6j is the complex imaginary component. Remember that we can check the data types of our numbers by using the type command. Just type in print, and then type, and then the number that you want to check. So let's look at C. Go ahead and save your file. I saved mine as pythonnumbers.py, and then pull up a command prompt or terminal. Type in the Python version that you want to use to execute your script, and then the name of the script. So mine is pythonnumbers.py. When we execute it, we see that we're printed the type of the C variable, which is the complex class. Now let's look at the basic math functions that we can use. In Python, to do addition, we just use a plus sign. Saving this and executing it, we see that we return 4, which is just 2 plus 2. For multiplication, we just use an asterisk. So let's change this to 2 times 3. When we save this and print it, we see that we return 6, which is just 2 times 3. Now let's say that we want to raise 2 to the 3rd power. We can just add in another asterisk right next to our first one and then execute it. We see that we're now returned 8, which is just 2 times 2 times 2. Now to subtract a number in Python, we just use a minus sign. We get 2 minus 3 is -1. Finally, to do division, we just use a forward slash. We see that 2 divided by 3 returns 0.66 repeating. Now that we've covered the basic math operations that come inherently in Python, let's look at the ones included in the math module. To use a function in a module, you first have to type in the module. So ours is math. Then you need to type in the function included in that module that you want to use. So let's use fabs first. What this does is it returns the absolute value of your number. So let's use a. Whenever we execute this, we see that our -10 is returned as 10. Next, we can do math.exp. This function is e raised to whatever value that you pass into it. So let's pass in b. We see that e to the 5.5th power is 244.7. The math package also includes a natural log and a base 10 log. We can call these by typing in math and then log. We can pass in 1 here. Then to return the base 10 log, we can type in math and then log 10. Let's pass in 1,000 here. We get the log of 1 as 0 and then the base 10 log of 1,000 to be 3. Lastly, let's look at how to take a square root. So pass in math again, and then xlrd, and then let's pass in 4. We get what we expect with the square root of 4 being 2. Python is also able to work with lists very easily. Let's create a list. We'll say list A, and then square brackets for our list, and then we'll pass in 10, 20, and 30. Now say that we want to find the max value in a list. Here we know that 30 will be our value, but in a much bigger list we may not know. So we can just use the function max to do this. We can also find the minimum in a list by using the function min. So we'll use the function min and then pass in list A. Executing this, we see that we get 30 for our maximum and 10 as our minimum. We're also able to do geometry operations with the math module. All we do is the same as before. We type in math and then we type in the operation that we want to perform. So we can take the cosine of a number, we can take the sine of a number, we can take the tangent of a number, and we can also take the hypotenuse of a triangle given 2 sides. So we'll pass in 3 and 4 to expect 5. We see that we're given the cosine of 1 to be 0.54, the sine of 1 to be 0.84, the tangent of 1 to be 1.55, and then the hypotenuse to be 5 of a triangle that has sides 3 and 4. Python returns these operations as radians, but we can use a function called degrees to change them into degree values. Drop down a few lines and type in print. And then all we have to do is call the degrees function the same way that we did before. And then we can actually pass in math again and then sine of 1. So here we've included 2 functions inside of each other, both from the math module. Executing it, we see that we get 48.2 degrees. And that's pretty much it for this video. This was just a very basic guideline on the math operations that we can do in Python. There's a lot more complex modules out there that we can use for more advanced engineering questions, but this will get us started. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time.